Hello to everyone at home. I hope you're all keeping really well. Today I have a book called Dear Juno to read for you, and I thought we might have a little look at the front cover. So I am guessing that this is Juno, and we can see that Juno is holding an envelope with a letter inside, and even his dog is really excited to see the letter. Now, if we take a really close look at the letter, you can see the envelope has some red and blue marks on the outside. And that means it has come from a faraway place. Can anybody guess or predict who is writing to Juno? Who do you think might be writing him a letter? I wonder. We're going to have a look at the back as well. And it does say at the top, Juno has a pen pal. And we have a blurb, but today I thought we might just have a look at the picture in the corner. So who do you think this might be? Do you think Juno's pen pal might be maybe his grandmother? What do you think? Let's have a look. Will we get started in the book and see? Okay. So let's get started from here. There's Juno in his garden. Juno watched as the red and white blinking lights soared across the night sky like shooting stars and waited as they disappeared into faraway places. Juno wondered where they came from. He wondered where they were going. And he wondered if any of the planes came from a little town near Seoul where his grandmother lived and where she ate persimmons every evening before bed. There's Juno and his dog, having a look at that letter. Juno looked at the letter that came that day. It was long and white and smudged. He saw the red and blue marks on the edges and knew the letter came from far away. His name and address were neatly printed on the front, so he knew the letter was for him. But best of all, the special stamp on the corner told Juno that the letter was from his grandmother. Have you ever checked to see the stamp in the corner of an envelope, boys and girls, to see where your letter is coming from? Maybe you could do that the next time you get a letter. Now, through the window, Juno could see his parents. He saw bubbles growing in the sink. He saw dirty dishes waiting to be washed. He knew he would have to wait for the cleaning to be done before his parents read the letter to him. Maybe I can read the inside too, Juno said to his dog Sam. Sam wagged his tail. Very carefully, Juno opened the envelope. Inside he found a letter folded into neat, small square. Now, have a look at his letter there, boys and girls. Do you think you could read that letter? Can you see it's in another language? His granny is writing. It must be Korean. He unfolded it. Tucked inside were a picture and a dried flower. Juno looked at the letters and words he couldn't understand. He pulled out the photograph. It was a picture of his grandmother holding a cat. He pulled out the red and yellow flower. It felt light and gentle like a dried leaf. Juno smiled. Come on, Sam, Juno said. Let's find Mom and Dad. Grandma has a new cat, Juno said as he handed the letter to his mother. And she's growing red and yellow flowers in her garden. How do you know she has a new cat? Juno's father asked. She wouldn't send me a picture of a strange cat, said Juno. I guess not, said Juno's father. How do you know the flower is from her garden? Asked Juno's mother. She wouldn't send me a flower from someone else's garden, Juno answered. No, she wouldn't, said Juno's mother. Then Juno's mother read him the letter. So Juno's mother must be able to read in Korean. Dear Juno, how are you? I have a new cat to keep me company. I named him Juno after you. He can't help me weed, but the rabbits no longer come to eat my flowers. Grandma. Just like you read it yourself, Juno's father said. I did read it, Juno said. Yes, you did, said his mother. At school, Juno showed his class his grandmother's picture and dried flower. His teacher even pinned the letter to the board. All day long, Juno kept peeking at the flower from his grandmother's garden. He didn't have a garden that grew flowers, but he had a swinging tree. Juno looked at the letter pinned to the board. Did his grandmother like getting letters too? Yes, Juno thought. She likes getting letters just like I do. So Juno decided to write one. After school, Juno ran to his backyard. He picked a leaf from the swinging tree, the biggest leaf he could find. Juno found his mother, who was writing at her desk. He showed her the leaf. I'm going to write a letter, he told her. I'm sure it will be a very nice letter, she answered, and gave him a big yellow envelope. Yes, it will, Juno said, and then he began to draw. You see all the drawings he's doing? Now, first he drew a picture of his mom and dad standing outside the house. Second, he drew a picture of Sam playing underneath the big swinging tree. Then, very carefully, Juno drew a picture of himself standing under an airplane in a starry nighttime sky. After he was finished, he placed everything in the big yellow envelope. Here's my letter, Juno announced proudly. You can read it if you want. Juno's father looked in the envelope. He pulled out the leaf. Only a big swinging tree could grow a leaf like this, he said. Juno's mother pulled out one of the drawings. What a fine picture, she said. It takes a good artist to say so much with a drawing. Juno's father patted Juno on the head. It's just like a real letter, he said. It is a real letter, Juno said. It certainly is, said his mother. Then they mailed the envelope and waited. And look, there is Juno's granny with the letter. She has the leaf and all the drawings, and you can see her cat sleeping on the envelope. One day, a big envelope came. It was from Juno's grandmother. This time, Juno didn't wait at all. He opened the envelope right away. Inside, Juno found a box of coloured pencils. He knew she wanted another letter. Next, he pulled out a picture of his grandmother. He noticed she was sitting with a cat and 2 kittens. He thought for a moment and laughed. Now his grandmother would have to find a new name for her cat. In Korea, Juno was a boy's name, not a girl's. Then he pulled out a small toy plane. Juno smiled. His grandma was coming to visit. Can you see all the things in the envelope? He was very excited to get that letter. Maybe she'll bring her cat when she comes to visit, Juno said to Sam as he climbed into bed. Maybe you two will be friends. Soon Juno was fast asleep, and when he dreamed that night, he dreamed about a faraway place, a village just outside Seoul, where his grandmother, whose grey hair sat on top of her head like a powdered doughnut, was sipping her morning tea. The cool air feels crisp against her cheek, crisp enough to crackle, he dreams, like the golden leaves which cover the persimmon garden. And if we look at the end, there is his grandmother, just like he imagined her, sitting drinking her tea in the garden. Okay, and that's the end of the story. I hope you liked that one, boys and girls. What did you think? Juno and his grandmother were both so excited to get a letter. Have you ever gotten a letter in the post? And how did you feel? I love getting letters. What about, do you know anyone who might like to get a letter? Or anyone you might like to write to? Maybe it's something you could try at home. Maybe when you write a letter, you could include something special the way Juno did. What did he put in his? Oh yeah, a big leaf from the tree, remember? And he included some drawings. And his grandmother added some pictures and some flowers. Lots of different things. So maybe you could think of something like that as well if you're writing a letter. All right. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.